So, how could India's new GST overhaul soften the blow of steep US tariffs? India's Prime Minister Narendra Modi has unveiled what he calls the most significant GST reform since 2017, cutting tax slabs, making essential goods cheaper, and offering a strategic counterpunch to protectionist pressures from Washington. Under this reform, India is abolishing its highest 28% slab, currently applicable to cars, air conditioners, fridges, and electronics, and shifting almost 99% of items taxed at 12% to a simplified 5% rate. The new structure will consist of just two slabs: one, a lower rate of 5%, and two, a standard rate of 18% with a special levy of 40% on a handful of, quote, sin and luxury items. This sweeping cut is expected to cost the government around $20 billion a year, but it could boost GDP by as much as 0.6 percentage points over the next 12 months. Critical at a moment when US tariffs on Indian exports have reached 50%. Economists argue the reforms will unleash firepower for domestic consumption, which accounts for about 60% of India's GDP. Simpler taxes, lower prices, particularly on daily goods and electronics, could drive a cycle of sale, investment, and job creation at home. Markets already responded favorably. Auto and insurance stocks jumped as India proposed cutting GST on small cars to 18% and slashing tax on health and life insurance premiums to as low as 5% or even to zero. That upsurge spilled over to broader markets. The Nifty index saw its best day in 3 months as investors got caught up in the optimism. Significantly, this reform comes as part of a larger push towards Atmanirbhar Bharat, or a self-reliant India. Modi is promising better support for local manufacturing of semiconductors, EV batteries, and agricultural value chains, reducing the country's dependence on export markets, which are now threatened by US tariffs. Still, the revenue impact is very real. The GST restricting could strain state and central budgets, risking fiscal tensions. India believes it can still hit its targeted fiscal deficit, but the road ahead requires careful balancing of growth and budgetary stability. Additionally, economists warn that while the GST reforms can soften the blow, they are not a cure-all. US tariffs could trim up to 0.7 percentage points off India's potential GDP growth. So India needs policies that boost domestic demand and export resilience. In short, India is buying time, leveraging tax cuts to keep the economy firmly propelled at home, even as export headwinds grow. The strategy strengthens economic resilience, energizes consumers, and buys fiscal and political breathing space in an increasingly protectionist global order. For more global issues explained, follow NewsX World.